Alrighty, welcome people. It is I, Curbs136. We are going to make sure that we talk about this patch. I also want to just really quickly gently adjust my sound there. That's better. It's a little bit louder. I am waiting for some people to be playing Dota 2, so I'm going to make this really fast as I send some invites out. Because it's not a big patch, it's enough for me to pretty easily just kind of move on. So, Dota 2 patch. Okay. Alrighty, so let's talk about it. Scan no longer triggers on creep heroes, with the exception of Lone Druid Spirit Bear, which means it still triggers on Lone Druid Spirit Bear. I don't know which other creep heroes that would apply to, but it just makes it clearer that you know what you're looking at. I am gonna look that up to make sure I know like what counts. The Brewlings. Familiars for Visage, Warlock Golem, and Helmet on Creeps. That's what it's for, just so we're all on the same page. Neutral Creep Gold XP bounty for stacked camps increased from 15-20%. I actually missed this, by the way. I didn't see this when I looked at the patch elsewhere, so I'm a little bit surprised by this. It means that when you stack camps, there's a bigger bonus for the person who's stacking camps, so for the support. Super cool. Aeon Disc just has a 6-second cooldown when you first get it. It prevents like an instant Aeon Disc in your inventory from suddenly protecting you. I don't even know why that matters. That's weird. You can't Ghost Form when you're debuff immune. It had some rare cases where that could happen. Same thing with E-Blade. It won't work on someone who's debuff immune of any capacity. It means that if you try to E-Blade someone who's like jug spinning, instead of waiting for them to be over it and then they'll be ghosted afterwards, it just doesn't even apply it. It's not even there. Not only will it not work, which was already the way it worked, I believe, but it won't even apply the debuff. It won't even hit them. So that is a little bit of a change. Helm of the Dom now has a 50 mana cost. Huge, by the way. Gigantic change. That might be the biggest change to this item, actually. Dominate can no longer be used due to the currently dominated creep took damage from a hero-based source in the last 3 seconds. That just means if someone starts hitting your Dom creep, you can't just take a new one to get rid of the old one. That sort of thing. The dominated creep move, you can't just also throw it to death, basically, because it would prevent you from getting a new one, which would slow down your farm if it was still getting hit. Like if you Veno Q'd it or something, now technically just it being Veno Q'd would prevent you from creating a new creep. Dominated creep movement speed was decreased by 10. It's a little slower, a little worse for fighting and everything. These changes overall probably are really big. The second two also apply to Helm. The first and second. Apply to Helm of the Overlord, so similar. Refresher Orb. Basically, every time you use Refresher Orb, the cooldown now increases by 10 seconds. With each subsequent use up to 210, it shows us here. The maximum is 180, 190, 200, 210. It just means over time, Refresher Orb gets worse because it's so good. And the mana cost for a reset increased by 50. And I have played some heroes with Refresher Orb that have trouble affording the second ult. This is going to be more common now that it's harder to afford the second ult because you're going to be 50 mana short. This will not take long, guys, by the way, the patch review. So get your, like I know I could say, like, oh, go take a pee break. After pee break, we might be done. I read it, so I know what it is.
You say that there's a lot of changes.
A lot of hero changes are very useless. They're things I can really look forward. I'm right down with the items, by the way. Neutral items. Self-exile is now an invulnerable and immobile rather than a hidden. That just changes how certain things affect it. It's better to be invulnerable, by the way, so it's better. Debuff duration, basically the timeless was nerfed for debuff duration and spell amp. It was nerfed for both of them. Boundless, the cast range was nerfed as well. So just some enchantment nerfs, because these were clearly some of the best ones you could get. So
Timeless wanted to... is the same at for the second one.
Yeah, no, basically it's the earlier of these things, which is tier 4, I believe, are worse for the timeless. And the ending is the same, but that's still... I don't think these usually apply for tier 5s anyway, because there's usually better things for tier 5. So it's harder for them to keep track anyway. Alpha Wolf, its aura that does extra damage got nerfed by 10 whole %. Good. This affects anybody who does like neutral converting mechanics. That also includes the Helm of the Dawn, by the way. And Skeletal Warriors give bonus attack damage, which I believe stacks. It gives 1 less damage now. I don't know why that would matter, but cool. Abaddon's ult now scales worse. It starts the same, but it gets worse by the end, so it's a 10-second nerf by level 18. That's very good and should be the case. I think everybody in this Discord call has fought an Abaddon and been annoyed that his ult's back up again. Good. Enfeeble has a worse cast range at all levels by 100. Good, because Enfeeble's way too freaking good. Beastmaster lost 2 damage. Just flat. Minor talent changes, don't care. Good on the 2 damage, by the way. Harder for Beastmaster to farm, but worse for him to fight. Brewmaster gained 1 base armor. The fuck? For what? I don't know. I don't understand why they would do that. That's super aggravating. I know it's minor, but super aggravating because he's tankier at all stages of the game. Hitch a Ride on Centaur, which I literally have never used in my entire time playing Centaur. The cast range was decreased by 50, so he has to be even closer to the unit to do it, which makes the ability even worse for as a save. So, like, I'm definitely not getting it now. Crystal Maiden's Facet got better. When she activates it, her own and allies' mana, when casting spells, they get mana back. And that amount of mana they get is 5% more. So actually, it is a better facet. I still think it's not the best facet, but like it's interesting. Solar Guardian for Dawnbreaker, the Ag Scepter Aura Linger duration was decreased from 3 to 2, which just means that... So when you talk about a linger duration, it means how long after you leave Solar Guardians do you still get healing, right? You're not even in the thing. How long do you heal? And it went down by 1 second, so that means it's worse for the sake of healing. That's 1 less tick, essentially. I'm sure it's multiple ticks, but the listed value is typically every tick. It's just less. Disruptor. The facet doesn't slow quite as strongly. Good. And they increased the early cooldown of static by 10 seconds. 10, 5, 0. There's early game nerf, which is good because Disruptor's garbage. I hate him. He's so annoying. Whatever. Remnant does more damage on Earth Spirit. It probably should, to be honest with you. It's really lackluster on damage, so I'm glad. I don't play him, but I'm glad. Earthshaker, his facet... for getting more aftershock radius, got nerfed by 10, so it's just less AoE, so it's even harder for him to hit you with aftershock. Aftershock also does less damage, 5, 10, 15, 20, which is actually a major nerf, because every spell he casts, when he has level 4 aftershock, that's 20 off, 20 off, 20 off, 20 off. That's going to be pretty dramatic. Hood, I never used Boomerang, but he got nerfed on the spell amp. Shakiro, Liquid Frost, impact damage was increased. It does more flat damage. Duration went up as well. So they care about that move slow. Rather than attack slow from the other side, it's more of a move slow, which is really cool. Kez wasn't in Captain's mode. I did not know that. He's in Captain's mode. He got 0.25 base mana regen. Good. He has trouble casting spells. Flutter. That new? I guess not. The first hit bonus is not consumed by the first attack of Echo Slash and Raptor Dance rather than applying to the entire cast. Cast does extra damage on the first attack. That means, okay, so his Flutter would make attacks stronger when he just switched. When he switches to Katana. And they made it so it doesn't both hits of Echo Slash or Raptor Dance. They fixed that as it was a bug. Switch Discipline. Fixed a bug with Active Scepter that would allow extra side abilities to skip cooldown. Bug, obviously. So this is all just bug. Bug. Impale on Kazurai Katana. Change from post-critical strike bonus damage to a separate instance of physical spell damage. I think that would nerf the damage in some rare contexts. Max health is damage for Raptor Dance. Went down by 0.5%, so it's weaker. It can no longer be interrupted by casting Grapple Claw, though. So you can't accidentally cancel your own Raptor Dance. That's good. Falcon Rush now has a break distance, so if you run too far away, then it'll just stop. And now it's better at most levels, but at the max it's been nerfed, so it doesn't give as much attack speed percentage. And they also made the crit weaker at the start for Shotosai. So basically they nerfed him. They nerfed him and fixed bugs. They fixed it. Same change to debuff immunity as before. No difference. Lich got some int, which is damage and mana regen. Well, actually, almost done. Okay. Feast. Hero creeps no longer count as heroes for Lifestealer's permanent health bonus. Okay. We talked about what those were. It just means they would be. It's a nerf to Lifestealer, actually. He gets less health. Lena stuns longer by 0.2 seconds. And for a Lena coming mid, maybe? Falcon, definitely more Lena.
Doesn't matter that much. That's more of a support buff than anything.
Oh my god. Skewer movement is now cancelled if he's stunned, hexed, etc. Huge nerf to Magnus. Ruined hero. Absolutely ruined hero. You have to catch everybody who can stun you now in reverse polarity, or he just gets ruined. Marcy. Bonus attack speed decreased on Unleash. Or same at the beginning, but it gets nerfed at the end pretty dramatically. She just lost 175. Yeah. 175 attack speed, which is actually notable. Big Marcy nerf. Arena of Blood got a nerf, so I'm probably not going to play Mars as much. It's between level 1 and 2 on its duration. That's pretty bad. Base damage per mana. I always struggle. Can you guys help me with this? Okay, so creates a shield that absorbs its normal ability. It absorbs damage in exchange for Medusa's mana. It increases with each level of Medusa. Base damage per mana, that's all I care about, is 2. That means that 2 damage must be dealt to Medusa for a mana to go away. Right? I think that's how I'm understanding this. And the base damage was 2.2, which means that now Medusa's mana is easier to get rid of. I think that's what that means. So, nerf to Medusa mana shield. I think. They nerfed Agshard on Monkey King by 5%. Tree Dance is interrupted if he's interrupted by stun and stuff. So I think if he's jumping... No, it says Tree Dance. It doesn't say Primal Spring. So it just means in general he can't jump to other trees if he's hit. Halfway during the jump, he would hit the ground, I think. Deluge damage was decreased at as she levels. Good on Naga nerf. Less heal on Agshard on Songs. That's another Naga nerf. Same debuff immune thing. Purification got a cast range increase. That's a nice Omni buff. He needs that. Arcane Herb on OD. Cooldown decreased. So it was 6 to 0. Now it's 4.5 to 0. So that helps OD's lane substantially. That's probably the biggest change to any hero you play in for.
Like, he needs that fucking...
Nope, I'm mad about it. I'm mad about it.
He doesn't need that.
Oh, PA got a 5% evasion bonus at all levels. Nice. No, I don't care about the cast range of Supernova Ags. It got nerfed by 50, I guess. Harder for him to save people with Ags. Okay, the scaling of Curveball went down by 2%, so it's harder for it to do a lot of damage. I'm almost done. Pugna. Actually, we can queue up if Falcon's ready. Because by this point, I will finish, so. Siphoning Ward, I don't remember what that does. Restores mana and health to Pugna based on how much damage is dealt on Nether Ward. Damage to HP was decreased by 5%. Damage to mana decreased by 10%. So it's hard, he doesn't get as much back from it. Same change to debuff immunity. Sonic Wave nerf on Quap. 25 at all levels. Just less damage at all. Pretty rough. Razor cooldown on Static Link was decreased. It's early game buff to its cooldown. It's 6 whole seconds at level 1. That's huge. Ricky slows 0.1 seconds longer on Blink Strike. Huge buff to Ricky to actually catch people, which is nice. Same the Beast, min damage, just like to shoot it without any kind of charge is slightly higher. It's 5, whatever. That's nothing. That's nothing. You can't blind buildings with Sandblast now. Good. That's stupid that you could. Cast range on Arcane Curse went down by a whole 150. It is way harder for Silencer to do his job from the backline. He has to be closer, which means he has to take a risk. Good. Snapfire Full Bore. It's narrow longer on Scatterblast. The max range was decreased by a whole 100, so that sucks because obviously it's harder to hit people. Good. Cast range on Cookie went down by 50 also. It's just harder for Snapfire to do her job from as far away. It's easier to activate Overlord with Shard because I know it gives Overlord that ability like, oh, everybody take that buff. It's now cheaper, so it's actually more reasonable for Storm because Storm doesn't want to waste mana on nothing. Wrath of the God Facet, bonus damage per strength was decreased. So they nerfed Sven's by 0.1. So 0.1 less damage per strength, which means at 10 strength, it's 1 less damage. So at 100 strength, it's 10 less damage. So think about that. So Sven will have somewhere between 10 and 20 less damage when he's actually relevant. Which, of course, then multiplied by his ult and crit and such. Reactive Taser's cooldown was decreased by 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Proximity Mines, the min damage at the edge was increased by 10%, so even when you just barely get hit by a Prox Mine, you're going to take 10% more damage, which is shit. Stacks gained from hero attacks increased from 3 to 4 on Timber. That's gross. He just gets more stacks now, so that's disgusting. Treant costs 1 base armor. I'm fine with Treant being a little tankier. He's tanky, but like I'm alright with that. Bonus armor on living armor also went up at level 2. 0, 1, 2, 3. So he gives more armor as well, which I think the armor from living armor was so low that I think that's needed. The heal I would be angry at, but just the armor, that's fine. I don't see Treant played a lot. Nerf on a movement, just some nerfs on some talents for Troll. Okay. Ooh, okay. The innate for Tusk. 5 more attack speed slow just by being near Tusk. That's cool. It's nice. They nerfed the Ag Shot on Ursa by 0.1 seconds. I know that's minor, but like, hey, it's cool. Easier to kill him. Then I got 1 more base agility. Disgusting. I hate that. It's 1 damage. And ward damage also got increased by 2 at all levels. Also gross. Viper's Corrosive, that's his passive. The attack slow that it gives you by attacking him got increased by 1, 2, 3, 4. That's also disgusting. And Grave Chill's cheaper on Visage. I mean, of all these changes, because Falcon's still not in the party, so I'm hoping he's going to be here in a second.
I'm joining in a second. I'm joining now.
Just a summary before I like restart this stream and then my Dota stream. I think the biggest changes here are stacking. The changes to Helm and Refresher. I think like the item changes are some of the biggest ones. I think that Alpha Wolf, which affects Doom a lot, is a big nerf. I'm about to queue up here. Other than that, Abaddon got smacked. Big brew buff. Smack on Earth. Smack on Kez. Smack on Magnus. Smack on Marcy. Smack on Mars. Smack on Medusa. Some love for OD. Some love for PA. Smack on Quap.
Smack could support Naga. Just put it that as well.
Sure. Smack on Silencer. Smack on Snap. Smack on Sven.
Well, the refresher.
The only buffs are at the end, actually, funny enough. Techie's Timbersaw Tree got some love. And Veno. So it's really a lot of supports in Timber. Everybody else got a smack, and I think that's exactly what I wanted to see from this patch. I wanted to see some changes that made Helm of the Dom less viable, and I wanted to see some smacks to some heroes that annoy me. Not all of them are perfect. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, hey, I love them, but good to have. We're going to end the stream here, restart it, because we're going to be playing DotA, as you guys might be able to see. So, you know, just for the sake of YouTube, I like to separate these things. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you all next time.